Well, welcome back to episode 7C, the third and final episode of this week's Weiser Wednesday. Again, we're looking at the strategy management system. Now, so far we've talked about 4 of those parts. Now we're going to focus on learning and adapting in the Office of Strategy Management or Chief of Staff role. So if we think about learning and adapting, it's important that as an organization, we learn and understand what's going on in the environment. We learn from our performance. We learn from what's going on in the marketplace and our competitors. Now, a lot of organizations think that's already happening, but it's important to make that explicit. And it's more important than ever, given the disruptions in our marketplace. So you want to look at, does your organization have a process to capture, interpret, and share information and learnings from what's going on inside the organization in terms of how it's performing and progressing, and also externally in terms of what's going on in the environment. So as you think about learning and adapting, that affects the organization operating system because it could lead to changes there. It could impact the strategy management system and also the operations operating system, which we'll talk about next week. So it's important to integrate that together. Now, when you think about learning, it really comes down to seeing differently. So are you seeing from different perspectives? Are you seeing from different viewpoints? A customer, a supplier. Are you looking close, or are you zooming out and getting a picture of the horizon? Are you looking in different places than you have before? It's also about using that information to adapt, to become more prepared, ready, and able to compete. It's important to be vigilant and make sure you're effective. So you need to look at those in your organization. Now, the last piece I'm calling the Office of Strategy Management, or a Chief of Staff role. Now, we've seen that there are 5 pieces. They're interrelated and they're interdependent. It's not linear. You don't go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. You might go from 1 to 3 to 5 and back and forth. So it can be complex. And it's complex because the situation we're in is complex. So you have to match that. Now, doing these things, it can be a challenge to coordinate and integrate and steward these various processes. So you're going to say, who's going to do this? Does the CEO have time? The CFO, the Chief Strategy Officer? And it's hard because everybody, quote unquote, has their day jobs. So ideally, you have an office or an individual that can help steward and guide that process. It helps, ideally, if that position or office reports to the CEO. In that office, you want people to have a both-and thinking mindset. You want them to be multilingual in terms of they can talk finance, HR, strategy, marketing, operations. You want people in that organization to have integrity, to be honest, to be trustworthy, and able to be objective without some underlying agenda. That organization or that person serves as a player coach, somebody who can act as air traffic control and also who can help coordinate everything. So you don't want to leave that to chance. You really don't. You want to have somebody who can handle those different roles, and you need to find a person who's up to the job. Now, you can say, now what? What do we do? Now, I'm happy to say this is something that I've spent over 10 years doing with hundreds of clients in multiple situations across various industries. So I know how to do this. I know how to help organizations. I know how to make it easier, faster, and more effective. The first step to do that is to request and schedule your complimentary discovery call. And you can do that. It's really easy. Go to www.jweiser.com and click on Book Your Discovery Call. or you can email me at j@jweiser.com. I want to help, and I'm ready and willing to do that today. The question is, are you? And will you make that call? It could be your most important decision. I look forward to hearing from you, and next week on Weiser Wednesday, we'll get into the operations operating system.